Can you imagine walking into a small, bustling store on a chilly afternoon, only to be met with a cold glare and sharp words? That's exactly what happened to Evelyn, a frail, elderly woman who needed nothing more than a little help. But what unfolded next was far beyond anyone's expectations. A story of kindness that changed lives. Evelyn shuffled slowly through the aisles of the neighborhood electronics shop, her thin fingers clutching a worn handbag. The faint scent of old wood mixed with the faint hum of fluorescent lights filled the air. Outside, the wind rattled the windows, but inside, it was stuffy and cramped, a place where impatient customers jostled for space. Evelyn's eyes, though tired, held a quiet determination. She was here to buy a simple charger for her granddaughter's phone, a small gesture of love that had taken weeks for her to manage. At the counter, Jared, a young salesman with a permanent scowl etched on his face, was scrolling through his phone, clearly bored. When Evelyn approached, his eyes flicked up just long enough to sneer. "Can I help you, or are you just wasting my time?" he snapped, loud enough for others nearby to hear. The room fell silent. Evelyn's face flushed, not with anger but with hurt. I need a charger for an iPhone 7, she said softly, her voice trembling just slightly. Jared snorted, waving a dismissive hand. "Those things are ancient. You sure you even know how to use it? Maybe you should stick to something simpler." His words stung like ice. Evelyn's hands tightened around her purse. For a moment she looked as though she might turn away, crushed by the coldness she hadn't expected. But then, she lifted her chin and looked Jared straight in the eyes. "I may be old," she said with quiet strength, "but I know the value of kindness, and I know this charger will help me stay connected to the people I love." Jared scoffed. But Evelyn reached into her purse and pulled out a small photograph. It was faded and creased, a picture of a young woman smiling holding a baby. "That's my granddaughter," Evelyn explained. "She's in the hospital now. This phone lets us talk every day." Her voice cracked, and Jared felt something shift in the air, a crack in his own hardened heart. He looked away, suddenly uncomfortable. The shop around them buzzed with the chatter of strangers, but a quiet tension settled between the two. Jared hesitated, then, with a reluctant sigh, reached under the counter and pulled out the exact charger Evelyn needed. As Evelyn paid, she smiled gently. "Thank you," she said simply. But the story didn't end there. Something about Evelyn's dignity and grace struck a chord in Jared. Over the next few days he found himself thinking about her, wondering how someone could carry such kindness despite the harshness of life. One afternoon, Jared noticed a flyer pinned to the community board outside the shop, a fundraiser for the hospital where Evelyn's granddaughter was staying. On impulse, he decided to visit. When he arrived, he saw Evelyn sitting quietly by the entrance, clutching a small bouquet of flowers. "Hello, Evelyn," Jared said softly, approaching her. "I wanted to help. Can I donate?" She looked up, surprised, then smiled warmly. "Thank you, Jared. That means more than you know." Together, they handed out flyers and spoke to passers-by, sharing the story of the young girl who needed their support. It was a small act, but it sparked something bigger. Neighbors began coming forward, volunteers joined the cause, and the hospital fundraiser gained momentum. Over the following weeks, Jared's attitude shifted. He grew kinder, more patient, and more willing to help others, inspired by the elderly woman who had taught him a lesson in humility. Evelyn's granddaughter recovered, and one day, Evelyn returned to the store, this time with a small box. "I wanted to give you this," she said, handing Jared a hand-knitted scarf, "for reminding me that kindness can come from anywhere." Jared smiled genuinely for the first time in a long while. "Thank you, Evelyn, for everything." Now, imagine if Jared hadn't changed. What if he had dismissed Evelyn and her story? How many chances for kindness would have been lost? This simple encounter shows us that sometimes the smallest acts, a smile, a helping hand, a moment of understanding, can ripple out to change lives in ways we never expect. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your own stories of unexpected kindness below. because together we can make the world a little warmer, one act at a time. And if you want to hear the next story, about a stranger who helped a lost child find their way home, click here. You won't want to miss it.